Hi there, I'm Gavin Gordon.
And I'm Deborah Merritt.
We're here in support of our friend, Frank Stewart.
On the night of October 31st, 1987, Frank hosted a live broadcast television special that ran into some technical difficulties.
Once our live feed was cut, Frank, his guests, and a number of WNUF crew members went missing.
The search for our friends continues, and that's why we're both here.
The record you're listening to was produced by WNUF to raise money to fund search efforts for all of the missing parties.
Side one of this record is a special treat for fans of Frank. Since joining the WNUF team in 1984, Frank's favorite pastime was investigative reporting. In fact, every Halloween, Frank brought us a creepy-themed news package that showcased and often debunked a local ghost story or other eerie legend. The following archival excerpts are from some of those Halloween broadcasts that showcase Frank's warm charm and truly unique wit.
Side two of this record features the work of Louis and Claire Berger, the noted paranormal research team that was with Frank during his last broadcast. The Bergers have been pioneers in the study of supernatural and psychic activity, and the clips you'll be hearing are reproduced from their hard-to-find 1976 LP, Sounds of the Spirit World.
So turn up the volume.
Dim the lights.
And if you have to pull the covers over your head, you can do that too.
That's right, folks. It's about to get spooky.
Recently, WNUF TV 28 was contacted about strange occurrences at a local River Hill business. Now, while it's not typical for us to air anyone's dirty laundry, we felt this time it would be appropriate. Welcome to King's Laundromat, a quiet spot on Hooper Street where you can wash your wardrobe, dry your clothes, and just maybe see a ghost. Yes, sir, since its opening 10 years ago, King's customers have seen all kinds of bizarre phenomena. Lights that flicker and shut off at random, washing machines that stop and start without any rhyme or reason, piles of clothes that when no one's looking seem to fold themselves. But don't take my word for it. Here's customer Sherry Newton.
I've been going here for about 4 years now, and I've seen some pretty weird stuff. You know, phantom shapes out of the corner of my eye, or I'll feel someone breathing down the back of my neck, and when I turn around, there's no one there. But the real creepy story, a ghost keeps stealing my underwear.
It only takes your underwear?
Yeah, it leaves my work clothes alone. I don't know what it is about ghosts and underwear. They must get a kick out of panties or something.
But it's not just missing panties. There are other eerie happenings as well. Ask World War II veteran Reggie Hunton.
This place is more haunted than a graveyard full of go-karts. All kinds of kookiness. That change machine over there, it eats quarters like some sort of monster. And this dryer, the buzzer will go off, and my clothes aren't even dry yet. It's madness.
But where did these phantoms come from? Are these damp sheets covering restless spirits? How exactly did this tale unfold? Upon further research, we uncovered the lurid details. 60 years ago, long before the building was a laundromat, it was a supposed speakeasy run by a notorious group of mobsters known as the Blue Ribbon Boys. Later, the spot itself was the site of a 1972 murder involving a young woman named Mabel Dunning, said to be the girlfriend of infamous mafia ringleader John the Heart Zaza. Is the murdered Mabel the ghost spinning up trouble at King's Laundromat? Could any detergent wash away those ghastly bloodstains? We're not so sure. But here to iron out the details is King's owner, Beatrice Gartley.
My business is not haunted. The rumors about the mafia are not true. Before this was a laundromat, It was a VFW haul, and the only thing haunting us is the smell of too much bleach.
So, you don't believe in ghosts?
I don't think there are any ghosts in this laundromat.
Are you saying that for the reputation of your business?
No, I'm saying that because I'm not a moron.
Well, that's your opinion. Whatever the case, King's Laundromat is hosting something completely unusual. And I, for one, hope it all comes out in the wash. Let's just pray these borax boogeymen leave us warm-blooded patrons alone. In other words, live and let dry. It's just past midnight, and you're standing alone in the darkest corner of the forest. It's a scene right out of a horror film. Any second now, you'll hear the grisly sounds of a savage beast. Something like... You've just heard the cry of the sheep squatch. I'm Frank Stewart, and no, I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes. For almost a decade, residents of River Hill have reported sightings of a grotesque, snarling monster with white fluffy fur and razor-sharp teeth. First-hand accounts have described the creature as walking upright on two legs and smelling absolutely disgusting. While no photographic evidence of the creature has been captured, the River Hill sheep squatch has been causing sheer terror. Citizens have called the police over the mangled remains of smaller woodland creatures like rabbits and squirrels. Someone or something has been ravaging these adorable critters. But is it a sheep squatch? WNUF turned to Deputy Sheriff Stephen Bray for his take on this livestock lunacy.
Frank, it's impossible. There is no way that a sheep, any type of sheep, would devour other animals in the way we found them. Sheep are herbivores.
What are you suggesting, Deputy? Are you saying that this could be a wolf? In sheep's clothing?
Sure.
If we wanted real answers, I knew we would need to speak with an expert on the subject. Someone to shepherd us through the curious realm of the sheep squatch. So I contacted Grover Boone, a retired high school science teacher who now explores the fascinating field of cryptozoology, the study of mysterious animals, like the Loch Ness Monster or the Chestertown Lizard Man. Tell us, Mr. Boone, when did you first hear about the sheep squatch?
I didn't just hear about it, I saw it firsthand. It was almost 4 years ago. I volunteered as a scout leader at St. Ursula's, and my troop had made camp at a clearing close to High Pike Farms. The boys had gone to bed, and I was tending to the campfire when I heard the most nauseating animalistic grunt ever to come from this region.
What did it sound like?
It was a nasty, deep groan.
Could you try to emulate it?
Oh, okay. Bah, bah, bah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Boone, we didn't pick that up. What was it like?
Bah, bah.
Wow. That is far out. Do it again.
Bah, bah.
Wild stuff. You heard that. You actually heard that noise.
Yes.
Well, then what happened?
I put out the fire and got in my tent. I was terrified.
So, you never actually saw the creature.
No, sir. Hearing it was bad enough. But I knew from that point forward I would have to dedicate my life to figuring out just what it was. And all signs point to sheep squatch.
Grover Boone spent the months and years that followed investigating this area for signs of any evidence. He's taken extensive photographs, made molds of questionable cloven hoof prints. He's even set traps to catch the furry fiend, known only as the River Hill Sheepsquatch. But you know, Mr. Boone isn't the only one looking for the beast. Almost nightly, countless young people drive out to this remote part of the forest. They park their cars in anticipation of a sheepsquatch sighting. In fact, here's some right now.
Hello?
Frank Stewart, WNUF TV 28. Are you here looking for the sheepsquatch?
Billy, is that a camera?
It's fine, miss. We're professionals.
Billy, I want to leave now.
Are you two here for the sheepsquatch?
Why don't you mind your own business, buddy?
It's okay. We're looking for the sheepsquatch, too. The River Hill Sheepsquatch. Does it really exist? Or is it a figment of overactive imagination? Whatever the case, residents have been flocking to this gloomy patch of forest looking to catch a glimpse of the supposedly carnivorous creature. Is this beastly entity a threat? Does it have a thirst for blood? Could we all be lambs for the slaughter? We might never know until it's too late. I'm Frank Stewart, WNUF TV 28. Something is haunting the atmosphere here. A malevolent force of dread that leaves every visitor uneasy. It's hard to describe until you've ventured inside. Welcome to Lemley Park Skate World, where your $5 ticket will get you an all-day pass, plus a hot dog and drink. It's a family-friendly venue with colorful lights and fun for all ages. But there's a strange chill in the air, and it's not coming from the frozen yogurt machine. No, it's something even more chilling. It's a tale of tragedy and revenge, of morbid misfortune and sinister specters. I'm Frank Stewart, and I'm about to investigate the Phantom of the Roller Rink. Opened in 1975, Lemley Park Skate World is a premier destination for folks looking to skate away their worries. In addition to the rink, the venue also provides games in their top-notch arcade and delivers delicious food at their, dare I say, gourmet snack bar. But in 1981, a freak accident shook the family fun spot. An employee went missing under bizarre circumstances. His name was Buzz Winslow, and he had double duties at Skate World. Overnight, he was their sole repairman, fixing lights and broken skates. Then, during the day, he donned a costume and portrayed the lovable Skate World mascot, Skate Gator, a fuzzy alligator on roller skates. In the wee hours of November 25th, 1981, Buzz Winslow was fixing the arcade's claw machine when a deadly electrical malfunction caused severe injury to his face and upper body. The major loss of blood left Buzz with no other option. He had to drive himself to the hospital, so he left a note explaining the situation. But Buzz Winslow never made it to the hospital. In fact, he was never seen again. It was as if he disappeared completely, until exactly 1 year later, when even stranger things started to occur.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe in this.
This is Melody Swan, a former Skate World employee whose harrowing tale sets the scene perfectly.
It was November of '82, and I was working a birthday party, a bunch of 8-year-olds. Well, ever since Buzz went missing, the management nixed Skate Gator, out of respect, right? Well, I remember the birthday boy was real upset about it. He was screaming and crying. I go out to the snack bar to get this brat of yogurt, and he's totally fine and tells me, thank you. Because while I was gone, Skate Gator showed up and gave him a high five.
Is it possible that someone else was in the mascot costume?
No. We had a memorial service for Buzz the summer before, and we burned that costume in a bonfire. There's just no way. At first, the folks who saw him thought he was floating, but really he was just on skates.
A phantom mascot. Sounds like hell on wheels. But this unholy roller is giving more than high fives. He's giving plenty of people the creeps. Here's Skate World's new security guard, Derek Accardi.
I've been here about 6 months now, and I gotten all kinds of reports. Kids come up to me, they tell me that an alligator stole their slice of pizza. I'm like, excuse me? People say they see tall shadows lurking around the arcade. I go to check it out. No one's in there at all. But the one time even I got nervous, I was locking up for the night. Lights are off, power's shut down. And all of a sudden, all the lights click back on, and the stereo starts blasting one of those stupid polka songs. Yeah, so I go back in. I'm yelling for somebody, but no one's there. I shut them all off and leave. I tell the owner the next day, and she makes me hum that stupid polka song. Then she starts crying.
You're that bad at humming?
Hey, pal, she started crying because that polka was the same song that Buzz would dance to when he came out on the rink dressed as the alligator.
Yikes, that just gives me the shivers. Derek, could you hum that polka song for us?
No.
The management at Skate World refused to comment on this story, but did give us full access to their location and some complimentary frozen yogurt. But what's really going on here? Is Skate World haunted by a spirit with unfinished business? Or is there a darker side to this tale? Is Buzz Winslow still alive? Still hiding out at his former job? Now a hideous man, deformed from that ghastly claw machine? Is he waiting, out to seek revenge? Or does he just like dishing out high fives? We may never know the answer to that question, but I can tell you that this frozen yogurt is delicious. You should try some yourself. In fact, all this weekend, in honor of Halloween, Skate World will be giving 15% off admission for anyone wearing a costume. So come on out in your craziest costume, and maybe you too can skate with a ghost. Wherever you end up on October 31st, let me be the first to wish you a happy Halloween. I'm Frank Stewart, WNUF TV 28.
The following album contains actual recordings of ghosts and unexplained entities from beyond our earthly world. It is our duty to inform you of the risks associated with listening to this record. When played at certain locations, dates, or times, recordings of ghosts have been known to provoke particular paranormal phenomena, including apparitions, poltergeists, and other dangerous entities. If you believe your home is haunted, please proceed with caution. Listening any further may strengthen any spiritual disturbances you've felt already, or it may invite a supernatural force into your home. If you are sick, or if a member of your family is sick, please consider listening at a later date. Evil has the tendency to feed on the weak. Playback of these ghost recordings may cause you or your sick loved one mental and physical harm. If you have children, please use headphones or keep them at a safe distance for the duration. Once you've finished this album, if you believe the entities captured on this record have entered your home, please contact us. We've been studying and researching the field of the paranormal for decades, and we're always happy to take on a new case. Our address is listed inside of this record. Just send us a self-addressed stamped envelope, and we'll be in touch. Despite the dangers I've touched on, we feel it is our duty to share the knowledge we have gained over the years. The purpose of this album is to empower you with an understanding of the spirit world, but you must tread lightly with matters of the occult. Always remember, you respect the dead, and they'll respect you. Hello, I'm Claire Berger.
And I'm Dr. Louis Berger.
And for the last 20 years, we have traveled the globe investigating cases of lost souls, phantoms, and visitors from beyond.
My wife Claire is a world-renowned medium.
You flatter me, Louis. I communicate with spirits who have been unable to cross over to the other side. I've had this ability since I was a young child, and I've been honing my psychic skills ever since.
I myself am not able to communicate with the spirit world, but I am one of this world's foremost experts in parapsychology. My work at the Massachusetts Center for Psychic Phenomenon has ushered in a new era of paranormal research.
Louis and I do not pretend to know exactly what happens when a person dies.
But we do believe that while the physical body may cease to function, there's another part of the being that remains.
Earthbound spirits are hungry for attention. Stuck in houses, hotels, restaurants, on the street. They are doing everything in their power to make you notice.
The world is saturated with the supernatural. There are specters and mysterious entities all around us. Sometimes you hear them, a whisper, a chuckle, footsteps. Sometimes you feel them when the room goes icy cold and the hair stands on the back of your neck.
You think it's your imagination, but it isn't.
Over the years, we have seen and heard some astonishing things, and they're all captured on this record.
Listen closely as we recount some of our most memorable encounters with spirits, both tame and malevolent.
Within this record, you'll hear actual ghosts caught with portable cassette recorders. We'll recount the tale of the disco boogeyman, a phantom still desperate to cut a rug. Then we'll travel to Ireland and share with you the world's first ever recording of a banshee.
We've changed the names of people and of places to protect the identities of those featured. But beside that, these accounts are 100% true.
So close your shutters, but open your minds, because we're about to bring you
the sounds of the spirit world. You may think that you've seen a ghost before, but have you ever heard one?
What you have just heard was recorded overnight in the empty ballroom of a haunted hotel. It is the most profoundly unsettling and mysterious ghost recording we have ever documented.
This recording has not been altered in any way. We invite you to listen again and again to see what you can make of it.
So what exactly are these recordings? We've captured some strange, human-sounding voices and distressing noises of unknown origin onto various forms of electronic media.
Now, what's fascinating is that these voices and sounds cannot be heard by the human ear when they first occur.
It is only after you play back the tape that you'll discover that a spirit has made contact.
Yes, it's truly amazing. When a ghost communicates directly to a human ear, we can't hear it, but the tape picks it up.
We don't hear anything at the time, but when we play back the tape, the sounds we've captured are horrifying.
We'd like to play you some of those sounds. The following excerpts were collected from a wide range of alarming investigations.
Many skeptics will spend the day in a haunted house and find that nothing happens. The thing is, a house isn't haunted 24 hours a day. You don't open the front door and see ghosts floating around. But after the sun goes down, the psychic energy builds in the darkness. From sunset to sunrise, these are the hours of supernatural infestation. First, you'll hear random knocks, followed by pounding and rattling in the walls. Sometimes you'll hear laughter.
Then you may hear cries or sobs. But these are just the tip of the iceberg. When 3 a.m. rolls around, that's when things get severely unnerving.
Are there any spirits in this house?
No.
Is anyone there?
If there are any spirits in this house, please give us a sign. Isn't that frightening? They never cease to give me chills.
Remember, we heard nothing when we asked the questions. It was only after we played back the tapes that these voices could be heard.
We encourage you to record your own. It's really quite simple.
Buy an audio recording device. Claire and I prefer portable cassette recorders to reel-to-reel devices. They're more expensive, but their smaller size makes up for the cost. Try to find a unit with an external microphone. Recorders with internal microphones will capture the sounds of the inner gears.
And make sure to use brand new tape. The first thing a skeptic will say to discount your recording is that the ghostly voices were caused by previous recordings on the tape. They'll diminish your paranormal evidence, no matter how dramatic or convincing.
Once you have identified a location you'd like to investigate, turn on your recorder. Invite any spirits who are present to have a conversation. Be respectful, be polite, and be smart.
Yes, do not tease them. You do not want to experience the wrath of an angry entity.
Ask simple questions. Names, ages, why they're here. Be clear and be loud. And give them long enough to answer.
Listen to your recording very carefully. Sometimes the sounds are so low, they're easy to miss.
If you capture something worth sharing, please send a copy to us along with a self-addressed stamped envelope. We'll gladly review your material and send you correspondence if we feel that you should hire us for a professional investigation. This first investigation happened in 1974 at a nightclub in Laytonsville, Maryland.
Something was going bump in the night, but it wasn't the music at the disco.
It was a ghost who danced to his own strange beat.
We like to call this one the case of the Disco Boogeyman. Each day, the owner of the club spent long hours alone, preparing for the night ahead.
One afternoon, loud music suddenly blared from the speakers. The owner rushed to the DJ booth, convinced that someone was pulling a prank on him. But when he arrived, no one was there.
The stereo system was playing on its own. Then, records started flying out of their sleeves, attacking the owner, whipping at his hands and face. He fled the scene and tried to keep the incident a secret.
But the bewitching incident intensified.
Employees started finding blood stains on the dance floor. No matter how many times they scrubbed them away, they always came back.
Finally, one night, the spirit was fed up with being ignored. With the dance floor packed and the music blasting, the disco ball exploded.
The owner knew that something had to be done. That's when he called us.
When we first arrived at the club, we knew immediately that something was wrong. There was a sadness in the air. Through her special abilities, Claire could feel the emotions of the spirit, his agony, his pain.
I felt an enormous sense of dread. Everyone else in the room faded, and out of nowhere, I was transported to another time. The spirit was showing me what happened to him. through telepathic projection. The dance floor was full of people. Lights flashed as people gyrated the night away. Suddenly, I couldn't breathe. I collapsed to the floor. I was paralyzed, but the other people were too high on drugs to notice. They kept dancing, stomping on me over and over. No one stopped to help. I came out of the trance, and I was in excruciating pain. My chest burned like the fires of hell.
I pulled open Claire's shirt. I had no other choice. And what I found was absolutely gruesome. You could see bloody scratches and shoe marks on her chest and abdomen. It was one of the most terrifying things I have ever seen.
I confronted the owner and told him what the spirit had shown me. And he confirmed that a young man had, in fact, overdosed on drugs and had been trampled to death right there on the dance floor.
Those people laid down the boogie and played that funky music till he died. Didn't they, Claire?
Yes, they did. It was just awful.
Once we knew what we were dealing with, we insisted on spending the night in the club by ourselves to conduct research. The owner complied.
When the sun went down, we began our investigation. The first thing we did was to set up our recorder.
We'd like to play you a portion of that session. Turn up your speakers and listen closely.
If there are any spirits in this club, please give us a sign.
Hey, baby, what's your sign?
Is there anyone there? If there's someone here with us, please give us a sign. Isn't that incredible? Absolutely astounding.
We're not jiving you, friends. That was real. Now remember, we couldn't hear anything the entity was saying. It was only after we played back the tape that we realized we had made contact.
And once we played back that tape, this spirit knew that we could hear him. He knew that he had our attention.
And that's when things got really funky.
We both saw smoke begin to plume from the club's fog machine, filling the dance floor. The lights sparked to life. Disco music blared from the speakers.
The room turned ice cold. There was a foul, nauseating stench, like rotting meat. And that's when I saw him. He was a large gray shape, almost transparent. He was sliding back and forth on the stage, really grooving to the beat. He had an enormous afro hairstyle and bell-bottom pants.
I focused my energy and made telepathic contact with the spirit. I told him to go to the light, but he refused to believe that he was dead. I told him that he didn't belong here, that he needed to realize that the party was over.
But the trapped soul still wouldn't listen. So I turned the tables on the spirit. I snuck in a copy of my favorite record, Glenn Ruxton's Gospel Favorites, a delightful collection of Christian hymns.
Lewis put that record on and turned the volume up all the way. All the while, we both prayed for his soul to find its way home. His hateful resistance was formidable, but we eventually overcame his colossal pain.
The lights turned off, so did the music, and in an instant, the ghost was gone.
Apparently, all he needed was a little taste of his own medicine, and some gospel tunes did the trick. That put an end to our disco haunting. The owner never heard from that unwanted guest again.
The case of the disco boogeyman was unlike anything we've ever experienced.
We can only hope he danced his way to the other side, safely. Most consider the banshee to be a creature of legend.
A form of Grim Reaper whose ghastly shriek warns the living that death is imminent.
If you hear the banshee's cry, someone you love is going to die.
If you see a banshee, you are going to die.
The tale of the banshee has a strong connection with the 6 great Gaelic families: the Kavanaghs, the McMenamins, the O'Briens, the O'Gradys, the O'Longs, and the O'Neills.
In the winter of 1973, fact and folklore collided at a small hospital in the Irish town of Hessler. There, villagers claimed to have multiple encounters with a monstrous wraith whose deafening wails brought doom to those who heard it.
Patients who traced their lineage to the 6 great Gaelic families were dying of strange and unexplained circumstances. It was a medical mystery.
At night, nurses reported hearing the terrible screams of a woman, only to find their patients dead in the morning. The superstitious locals were convinced it was the work of a banshee.
Banshees are not known for attacking the living, but this one was different.
A young nurse had a horrifying brush with the creature. One night, she was patrolling the halls and took note of a rancid odor. Down the hall, she saw a cloaked woman floating. The banshee turned and looked her in the eyes. Her face was white as a sheet, and her eyes were black as night. The banshee let out a scream so loud and shrill that it caused the nurse's eardrums to burst. She told the doctor on duty every detail, but he didn't believe her. The next day, she dropped dead of an apparent heart attack. She had no previous history of health problems.
An unspeakable evil was preying on this hospital, something many believed had only existed in legends.
The hospital staff was desperate. They turned to us and paid for our journey to Ireland in hopes that we could put an end to this nightmare.
The hospital president was quite the skeptic, but he humored his staff and allowed us to conduct our investigation.
On the night we arrived, we began at the edge of the woods surrounding the hospital, where the sounds of the banshee seemed to originate. We kept our ears open for the infamous screams of terror.
That night was rainy and damp with a chill in the air. The locals had made us a traditional concoction of herbs that were used to attract the banshee. We sprinkled them around the hospital perimeter, hoping to draw her out.
Out of nowhere, we heard the deadly wails coming from the woods.
I felt a freezing cold hand clench my shoulder and sniffed a disgusting stink in the air. The spirit made telepathic contact with me. I could feel her despair. She was filled with rage, vengeful. She told me she hated all those who were living, especially me. I was paralyzed by fear. I'd never encountered such a vicious presence.
I scrambled for the recorder and quickly flicked it on. Here is what we captured.
Be advised, if you are a blood relation to one of the 6 great Gaelic families, these recordings have the potential to cause you physical or emotional harm. We call on the spirit of the banshee. Please come forward and let us hear your cry.
If the spirit of the banshee is still with us, give us another sign.
Did you hear that? Because I certainly did.
It's okay, Claire. Continue.
Who are you? Identify yourself. The cry of the banshee was so piercing, it actually hurt our ears. It was excruciating.
Blood oozed out of Claire's ear. The banshee's cries caused her physical pain. It was incredible.
I was terrified. I thought, this is it. I'm done for.
But luckily, I had an ace in the hole. When we landed at the airport, I had discovered a four-leaf clover in a nearby meadow. I pocketed the lucky artifact in hopes that its magical components could help us later. And boy, did they ever.
Lewis held out his clover and hoped he'd get lucky. And he did.
The banshee was furious, but she weaved back and forth, entranced under the spell of the four-leaf clover. In an instant, she transformed into a green mist and drifted away into the dreary darkness of the woods.
Would she come back? We weren't sure.
But it was the best we could do.
We reported our findings to the hospital president and played the whales we had captured.
We urged him not to admit any more patients whose lineage could be traced to the 6 great Gaelic families.
The president was a skeptic and laughed at us. He refused to believe that a banshee was haunting his hospital.
Sadly, after we left, patients who were blood relatives of the 6 great Gaelic families continued to die of bizarre and unexplained circumstances. Many locals still insist that the banshee is responsible.
While skeptics disagree, Lewis and I believe that banshees do exist. We've stared them down face to face and heard their sorrowful song.
Remember, friends, death is out there, waiting for us all, and the banshee always knows whose time is up. Before we leave you, Claire and I would love to give one last parting gift, an opportunity for all of us to speak with the dead.
We will walk you through the process of a seance, step by step, in the hope that you, too, may communicate with the spirit world.
First things first, wait for sundown. Then, find a quiet place in your home, somewhere calm, where you can focus easily. If possible, use a room with a rounded table so that all participants can face each other.
Next, gather candles and place them in the center of the table. You'll need at least 3. Now, light them one by one, and then turn out any lamps or overhead lighting in the room.
Make sure that everyone you have invited to your seance believes, or at least has an open mind. Otherwise, it may not be successful. Spirits do not like skeptics. For a seance to be effective, we recommend that you share the session with at least 4 living individuals.
Once everyone is at the table, link your hands together. Extend your right hand to the person on your right and your left hand to the person on your left. This creates a physical bond to the earthly world and allows each member of the group to stay connected while venturing deep into the spirit world.
Once the lights are out, the candles are lit, and everyone is holding hands. We advise participants to close their eyes. This stops any other distraction from worming its way into your brain.
It's best for one person to be the voice of communication with visitors from beyond. I will be taking on that role on this recording.
Normally, you will go into a seance with a specific spirit that you wish to summon, a dearly departed family member, friend, or a loved one. For the purpose of this record, Claire will keep things open-ended so that you may learn the ways of the ritual. We will simply ask for any spirit instead of a specified guest. Now, let's begin.
Are there any spirits here with us tonight? If you are here, please give us a sign.
Signs come in many different ways. Perhaps a tap on the window or a flicker of the flame. If you would like to ask the spirit for a specific sign, feel free to do so. But understand that not every ghost has the ability to perform all types of activities. They are limited in their means of communicating with the living.
Now we're going to ask some questions. Please tap once for yes and tap twice for no. Did you like this record?
Incredible. We've made contact. I hope our friends at home have made contact as well.
Are there any other paranormal investigators that hold a candle to what we do? Would you like to hear more about our work with mysteries and the occult?
Well then, stay with us, dear spirit, and we will tell you all about it. As for the rest of our listeners, you can locate our address inside the sleeve of this record and send us a self-addressed stamped envelope. We'll send back a catalog of books we've authored and information on how we can help you with any matters of the paranormal.
To end a seance, you should finish any questions, thank the spirit for its time, and then simply unbind the circle of hands and blow out the candles. It's as simple as that.
And with that, this seance and our record must come to an end.
We hope you found it enlightening and captivating.
Until the next time, always remember,
respect the dead, and they will respect you.